Hello everyone, I'm the Sneezing Monkey and today I'm bringing you a little bit of DayZ gameplay. It's just I recently played with my friends and we came across a few vehicles and drove around, so it's mostly a little drive around the countryside of DayZ, I would say, and it's always nice to have a little conversation going when you're in a car and on a long car ride. So I guess I picked a topic today that is quite unusual for me. Normally I talk about games and reviews, but I'm really interested in the gun law debate that's happening right now in America. So I'm thinking I'm going to take part in that and just, look at a few different angles that I've seen in that discussion in interviews and from politicians, but then also give my own thoughts, my own opinions on it. Normally, I wanted to make a video today where I review Hitman Absolution, but I think it's just more important, or it's just more pushing for me to kind of get involved in that discussion. It all started when I've seen this Piers Morgan interview on CNN with Alex Jones. I don't know if you know who Alex Jones is. Like, he's a radio host in America with quite radical views on some things. There are some things that I agree with him on, others don't, but in this particular show it was just extremely scary because he got all aggressive in the discussion about the option of taking his guns away. He's a big gun fan. He has like 50 rifles or whatnot in his home. And it was just quite scary to see if he's saying, whatever you do, if you try to disarm me, we're gonna fight back. And it was basically a threat. And it's just something that you don't really want to see, and also you don't want people like that to own guns because they can just really become a threat for the environment. Besides that, obviously we've seen these terrible massacres in schools and cinemas and so on happening over and over again, and it's really unbelievable how you cannot gain the insight to say yes, guns have to be banned. At least that's my natural feeling. But then I'm listening to the opposite side of people saying we need guns, it's the Second Amendment, we want to fight back in case there is like a government tyranny coming up. And I understand that for some people at this point it might sound ridiculous, but I have to say they've got a point there. We're living in very difficult times at the moment, socially, economically, and it happened before in the past that quite radical and often fascist governments try to benefit from these social and economic situations to gain more power for themselves, really. I'm not saying, that all US government conspiracies are right and that it's definitely like a major threat, but I think there might be something there that needs to be considered in this discussion, and it's not a point that can be just declined and not discussed about, not talked about. So I think they got a point there, but nonetheless, then to me it doesn't make sense how you can think that an assault rifle or even a gun could help you to secure your freedom. We're talking about the American government here. If they really would run a fascist scheme, they have an army that they send to your house, and even you have 5 assault rifles, you will not be able to defend yourself. It's just not realistic. So I think what instead has to happen is we have to think about how we can shift this power from a gun, what it is at the moment, into maybe something that's more, I don't know, the internet, for instance. I think the internet offers great opportunities to give power back to the people. You just need to create platforms that allow people to be heard, and that there are options there to shift this power away from guns onto other things. Anyway, all I would hope for really is that there would be a more sensible discussion about this topic, and that always when I see any coverage on it on the media or television, internet, whatever, it always just seems like there are these two parties, one on the left and one on the right, and they're just screaming at each other, trying to be right, and we just have to realize that is not gonna happen. Anyway, my personal opinion on this is basically I think that we don't need guns for anything in these days. I understand, and I fired a gun myself. It just feels great. Firing a gun is an awesome thing. It gives you a strong feeling of power, but I think we should at least live in an age where we overcome this quite animalistic thrive of feeling power in my hand and control over others. We should at least try to overcome that, and if we would have a country that's completely gun-free, there will definitely be less murders and so on. Of course, America is always also compared to the UK, and I do live in the UK, so I kind of have an idea of what's going on here. Also, of course, I've just have the view of a citizen of London, but I think, at least I can talk about what's happening around me. And of course, there are muggings, and of course, there are stabbings, and there's other crime, there are robberies, car theft, all these crimes are happening. But it just makes such a difference when you have someone with a knife, or you really have someone who has an assault rifle and actually kills 20 people. It just makes such a big difference. So I think my opinion on this is pretty clear. I wouldn't support any guns. I don't think we need guns, and we should find a way around it. And that's actually, to me, that's one of the challenges of humanity, to overcome these kind of tempting things like guns that give you an easy feeling of power, things like greed and all these quite animalistic urges that we have as humans, to overcome them. And that should be the challenge. And I'm very sad that so many people are still very, very persistent on owning their guns and having them at home. Anyway, guys, it would be great if you could leave me a comment or a little like. That would be appreciated. I would love to hear your thoughts on gun control, but please try not to get too aggressive about it and too emotional. I understand it's a heated debate, but I think we can all discuss it like from one to one with arguments, and just try to validate, the pros and cons, and look at it. And it would be great if you could share your thoughts on it. Thank you for watching the video. I'm the Sneezing Monkey. See you next time. Bye.